Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm making this beautiful top for young girls, and I have made the same design for a 5-year girl as well. Link is in the description. If you want to make this design for kids, you can follow that link. I was requested a lot to make the same design for young girls, so let's get started. First of all, I gotta tell you about the fabric. This is a black fabric, black cotton fabric, and it's half yard, and I'm using it for piping. I recommend you to use a ready-made piping which is easily available in the markets, and it will be much easier for you to make the dress. And this is the main fabric. It's red in color, it's cotton fabric. My fabric is 53 inches wide, so I need 2 meters of that fabric, but normally the cotton fabric is 39 inches wide, and if you have that kind of cotton fabric you need 2.5 to 2.75 meters of the fabric. And now we'll go for cutting. First of all, we'll cut for length of the dress first. So I have cut two pieces of the fabric, both are 31 inches long, and these are two folded pieces in front of me right now, and the width of the fabric is more than our normal shirt because we'll make A-line dress. So these folded pieces are 15 inches on fold, so our front and back both will be 30 inches wide. Now we'll mark for half of the shoulder first at 7.5 inches and 7.5 inches for armhole. Extend these 2 points. At 14 inches from the top, we'll draw a line where we'll mark for the waist. So first of all, for the chest, we mark 1/4 of chest, adding a 0.5 inch losing. I'm marking at 9 inches. For waist, we mark at 1/4 of the waist, and keeping a 0.5 inch losing, I'm marking at 8 inches here, but you need to take 1 more inch extra for seam allowance, because when we'll attach flounce here, we'll cut the fabric and then rejoin it, so we need 1 inch more seam allowance. So you should mark at 9 inches here, means 1 inch more than 1/4 of the waist, right? From this mark of cutting, we'll draw a shape for back armhole, and for front armhole, we'll mark at 1 inches inwards here and join this point to the top, and we'll pass the curve for front armhole through this line, so that will give a perfect shape for front armhole. For neck width, I'm marking at 3.5 inches, and for neck depth, I'm marking at 5.5 inches. Make a box here and draw a round shape for neckline. You can also make a neck on paper pasting first, as we normally do for our dresses, or you can make it without bukram as I'm doing it here. And for back neck depth, I'm marking at 2 inches here and join this point to the neck width like this. Join chest mark to the waist mark and waist to bottom corner like this. We'll give a 2 inch slope at the bottom, so mark at 2 inch here and make a curve, a slight curve at the bottom like this. And now we'll cut the fabric. First of all, back neckline, back armhole, and sides keeping 1 inch margin, and the bottom. Now we'll separate back part and cut front neckline and front armhole. So we have cut front and back part of the shirt. Now we'll cut the sleeves. I took 2 pieces of fabric, these are 2 pieces, and we'll fold this from one side at 8 inches. The length of the sleeve would be 13 inch, as we'll attach bell at the bottom. We'll mark at 7.5 on this line and give a slope of 3 inches and join this point to the top in a slight curve. That will be back armhole. Bottom width would be 5.5 inches join this point to the top like this, and give a bit deeper curve for front armhole like this. Now cut the sleeves keeping 1 inch seam allowance at the side and back armhole first. Open the sleeves and cut front armhole. So we have cut the top part of sleeves. Now we'll cut the bell from this fabric. These are already 2 pieces of fabric. Now they are 4, and we'll fold it once again. So we'll cut both the bells in one go. The width of sleeve from the bottom is 11 inches. We'll divide 11 inch by 6.25 and we get 1.7. We take it as 1.5 because we take a few points less than the result we get. So we'll mark at 1.5 from the corner. Actually, this is the 4th part of the circle in front of us right now. That's why we calculated 1/4 of the circle we want. The width or the circumference of our circle was 11 inches. So we divided it by 6.25 and we got 1.5. So we marked it here. The fabric I have is at 7 inch from the corner. So I'll mark it 7 inch. We'll cut 1.5 inch mark and we'll get 5.5 inches long bell. So we'll cut from these 2 lines and we got these bells. These are 2 bells for both the sleeves. You can see it's a complete circle. The bells will be attached like this from the top part of the sleeve. Now we'll start stitching. First of all, we'll join front and back part of the shirt from the shoulders. So I've attached the shoulders and then finished the neckline. And for that, I've made this piping. I took 1.5 inches wide bias strips and folded the edges inwards like this and pressed it very hardly. Now that will be the piping. I recommend you to use ready-made piping. That will be easier for you to attach and it will save your time a lot. It is easily available in the market. We'll place the piping under the shirt and fold it on the top and top stitch. So this is how we attach piping. Simply sandwich the shirt piece in between the piping, fold. Don't stretch the piping or the shirt. So we have finished the neckline. It's looking very nice. Now we'll give a mark for the flounce to be attached on the front part of the shirt. So we'll open the shirt like this, fold the front part of the shirt in half and give a mark at the center. You can press it or you can give a mark with your thumb. I pressed it, so I got a mark at the center. Now from bottom of the neck, we'll mark at 2 inches here, and this point should be at 1 inch from the center. So we'll mark at 1 inch from the center, 2 inch from the neckline and 1 inch from the center. We'll join this mark to the bottom and it should be at same distance from the side. So I make it prominent for you. This is the stitch line for the side. We'll join this point to the bottom, keeping equal distance from the side, and we'll measure the length of this line first, and that is 25 inches. We'll keep it 0.5 inch less from the bottom, so it is 24.5 inches. That will be the length of our flounce. Now we'll cut at this line. The shirt is folded, so we'll get a cut on both the sides of the shirt. So that will be the point where our flounce will be attached later on. So when we open it, you can see we got 2 equal cuts on both sides of the shirt. Now we'll cut the flounce. These are 2 pieces of the fabric, 18 inches wide and 18 inches long. We'll take one piece of fabric first, fold it twice. So we got 4 layers of fabric. So this is 1/4 of the fabric in front of us. We are cutting the flounce in a circle, so we have 1/4 of the circle in front of us. So we need to find 1/4 of the circle. The full circumference of our circle is 24.5 inch that we measured earlier. So we'll divide 24.5 by 6.25. This is how we get 1/4 of the circle. And we got 3.92. We keep 1 or 2 points less than the answer we get, so we take it as 3.7. So I'm marking at 3.7 from the corner. That is 1/4 of the circle, right? So I'm marking at 3.7 from the corner. Now we'll cut from here and open it just one time. And now we'll mark for width of the flounce. The width of the flounce will be 5 inches from the center. So we'll mark at 5 inches from one side of this semicircle and at 2 inches from the other side, and we'll join this 2-inch mark to the 5-inch mark, increasing width of the flounce a little bit. So with a free hand we'll join this mark to that 5-inch mark, increasing the width a little bit. You can see here, and it is slightly round from the beginning. Now we'll cut at this mark. So this is the shape of the flounce. We'll open it and this will be our flounce. We'll cut the same shape of the flounce from the other fabric. We just folded it once and pin this flounce first on the fabric and then cut it in the same shape. So we got 2 flounces for our shirt. So we have cut the flounce. Now we'll attach piping at the outer edge of the flounce in the same way as we did for the neckline. Keep in mind that you're not supposed to stretch the fabric or the piping. Just keep it as it is in the same shape and top stitch. The flounce is sandwiched in between the fold of the piping, right? So we have attached piping on both the flounces. It's looking very nice. Now we'll adjust the flounce in its place. This is the right side of the flounce. It will be attached here. Flounce is in a circle, so it is stretchy a little bit, so you don't need to stretch it, otherwise it will exceed the length. We need to place it 0.5 inch above the bottom, and we'll stitch this flounce on this side of the shirt first. We'll stitch it from here and then place the other part of the shirt on it and stitch again. So as you can see here, I stitched the flounce on this part of the shirt first. There is no pleat on the flounce. I'll show you the attachment of the other flounce on machine. Now we'll sandwich the flounce in between these two sides and stitch here, and we'll make the stitch line from this side where the first stitch line was visible, and there is a very less margin from the corner. Now we'll attach the flounce on the other side, and I'll show you how. First of all, we'll attach the flounce on this part of the shirt and then sandwich it as we did before. So we start from here. The margin will be very much less from the beginning, and then we'll keep on increasing the margin, and that would be ½ inch later on. And keep moving the flounce on back side of the presser foot. Because it's wavy, there should be no pleat on the stitch line, right? Insert the needle in the fabric and move the flounce towards the back side of the presser foot and stitch. So this is ½ inch above from the bottom, and now we'll place the side of the shirt on the flounce like this and stitch here. We'll stitch from this part of the shirt where the first stitch line is visible. So for this side I'm starting from the bottom. Make sure that there is no other fabric under the stitch line, like the flounce should not come under the stitch line, and keep on stitching on the previous stitch line. But at the end the margin would be very much less, and join it at the top here. So we have attached the flounce. It looks like here from the top. We'll attach a bow tie here later on. Now we'll match the right sides together of front and back part of the shirt and stitch the side seam. And attach piping at the bottom as we did for the flounce and the neckline. So after stitching the sides, I attached piping at the bottom of the shirt. Now we'll attach the sleeves. So we'll get the sleeves ready. And for attaching the sleeves, we'll turn the right side out of the shirt first. Now we'll attach the sleeves. So these are the sleeves we already cut, and this is the bell, and we attached piping on the edges of the bell as well. Now we'll stitch the side of the sleeve, and it's a circle now. Turn the right side out. The right side of the bell is also in front of us. Place the sleeve here. So the right sides are facing together. Flip the circle and stitch here. I pinned the bell and the sleeve first and then stitch. It will be easier to stitch. So I've attached the bell to the top part of the sleeve, and if the bell width of the bell exceeds this sleeve, you can decrease the margin, side margin, and increase the width of the sleeve, right? Or there is another option. You cut the bell from one end here and do not stitch the side of the sleeve. So the sleeve will be open, bell will be open. You can simply attach the bell first and then stitch the side seam if you feel any difficulty attaching the bell, right? Now we'll attach the sleeves to the shirt. This is front armhole and that is the front armhole. The shirt is wrong side out and sleeve is right side out, right? We'll insert the sleeve here, match front armhole to front armhole and side seam of the sleeve to the side seam of the shirt, and match armholes together and pin first and then stitch. This is a very easy way to attach the sleeves. So I've attached both the sleeves in the same way and it's looking very nice. You can see here. Now we'll attach a bow tie at the center, and for that I took this strip of fabric. It is 4 inches long and 18 inches wide. Fold the fabric and cut it in 2 halves. Now take a black color bias strip and fold it. Keep the folded side inwards and stitch here. Do the same for the other side. Fold the strip, keep the folded side inwards and stitch here. Keep the stitch line at a distance equal to the width of piping you want. So you can see here it's almost 1 millimeter. Place the other strip on it and stitch here. The stitch line should be made on this side where the first stitch line is visible, so it will be easy to find out where to stitch. Now turn the right side out. So in this way our piping would be even from every place. Press it first and then match the edges together, the raw edges, and stitch here. So I overlap the edges and stitch here. Now take a needle and thread, tie a knot at one end and pleat it down from this side first and then pleat the top part of the bow, so it will give it a bow shape. First wrap it with a thread and then wrap it with a strip of fabric, black fabric. So I took this strip of fabric, folded it from the edges, wrap it around the center, give a few stitches here, and our bow tie is ready. We'll simply hand stitch it in its place. So our dress is ready. You can see here it's looking very nice. And if you have any questions related to cutting or stitching of the dress, you can ask me in comments. I hope you liked the video, and I made cap sleeves for kids, and if you want to make cap sleeves for this dress, the link is given in the description. You can follow that link. And this dress was made for young girls, so I preferred sleeves with bell, and it's looking even more elegant. So thank you so much for watching, and Allah Hafiz till the next video.